Hello, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Sarasota. Whether you're a member, a regular attendee, or you've just found us, we want you to know that you're welcome here. My name is Jim Grove, a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center, and I greet you with Namaste. Namaste is Sanskrit and means the divinity in me recognizes and honors the divinity in you. I'd like to begin by sharing our center's vision statement with you. The words can be seen on your screen. Empowering spiritual growth as a loving, inclusive, worldwide community. We fulfill the intention of our vision in a number of ways that are outlined in our mission statement, which can be found on our website at cslsarasota.com. Please know that we're here to support you in finding a personal relationship with the God of your understanding and in discovering what you already know. And we celebrate the awakening of our innate spiritual magnificence. Now, as we prepare for our time of prayer and meditation, I invite you to relax, close your eyes, and take a deep cleansing breath. Go within as Bob Teesdale sets the tone for us with a chant entitled, "There Is Only Love" by Karen Drucker.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. Letting fear and worry fall away from me, I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Please join me in this meditation inspired by Ernest Holmes, the founder of our Science of Mind philosophy. Dr. Holmes said, "An attitude of gratitude is most salutary and bespeaks the realization that we are now in heaven." There is something in this attitude of thanksgiving that carries us beyond the field of doubt into one of perfect faith and acceptance, receptivity, and realization. The attitudes of praise and thanksgiving are salutary. They not only lighten my consciousness, lifting it out of sadness and depression, they elevate it to a point of acceptance. Praise and thanksgiving are really attitudes of recognition. They are affirmations of the divine presence, the divine abundance, and the divine givingness. It is only when I live affirmatively that I am happy. It is only when I recognize that the universe is built on affirmation that I can become happy. Today, through praise and thanksgiving, I recognize the divine presence in everything. Today, I recognize the beautiful and perfect in everything. I call it forth with praise and thanksgiving, blessing the spiritual reality back of all things. I relax now into the knowledge of this truth, and I let it shine into my own experiences and circumstances, and thereby inspire others to do the same. I am so grateful for this reality of my very being that brings forth only good, joy, peace, and wholeness. I now release these words of truth into the law of good with full confidence that it is manifesting even now as I have declared. And so it is. It's my pleasure to introduce Sean Scanlon, one of my fellow spiritual practitioners here at the center, as our guest speaker this morning. Sean recently relocated to the Sarasota area from Los Angeles, California. He began his spiritual journey in his early 20s as an avid student of metaphysics, along with several Eastern and Western religions. In 2005, he read Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. This changed his understanding of the true nature of mind, spirit, and the power of our thoughts and creative abilities. In 2010, he joined the First Church of Religious Science in New York, which was founded by the late Raymond Charles Barker. There, he began Science of Mind classes and delved into the works of Dr. Reverend Barker, Wallace Wattles, Neville, and others. Sean became a licensed practitioner in May 2018 and has served on the board of his former church, the Global Truth Center in Los Angeles. Professionally, he is a global executive search leader in the media, entertainment, and technology industries. Sean's message for us today is entitled, "Gratitude is the Portal to the Divine." But before we hear from Sean, Bob is back to sing one of his own songs, Grateful Hearts.
Grateful minds will often vent lines of lofty sentiment, but no poetic platitude could match one act of gratitude. Grateful hearts speak not a word, their actions felt but never heard, but all heaven smiles and angels sing when grateful hearts do grateful things. Grateful, grateful for all the joys and blessings this life brings. If life is in the living, then the thanks is in the giving. When grateful hearts do grateful things. Grateful lips may talk the talk, but grateful feet will walk the walk. And the work of many grateful hands helps share a load of life's demands. What eloquence cannot express, a grateful act might say it best. 'Cause in spite of what you may have read, some things are better done than said. Grateful, grateful for all the joys and blessings this life brings. With acts of gratitude and grace, we make this world a better place. When grateful hearts do grateful things. And if life is in the living, then the thanks is in the giving. 'Cause grateful hearts do grateful things.
Hello. It is a pleasure to be here with you during this month of Thanksgiving. Today, I would like to talk about gratitude, as it seems to be a fitting topic for this Thanksgiving season. It also may seem like a rather obvious topic, although for much of my life, the real meaning of gratitude was not obvious to me. In fact, it was quite the opposite. But I began to learn that the true meaning of gratitude was simply something that I did not understand, and I wasn't using that true meaning of gratitude for my good. It was only when I came to study the science of mind from so many wonderful teachers that I realized that I had spent so much of my life misunderstanding the real meaning of gratitude. For years, I interpreted gratitude as settling for what I was given and not being allowed to ask for more. Every time I heard the word gratitude, in my head, I heard the phrase, "You should just be grateful," meaning that I should just be content with what was being doled out to me by someone else. I know that I'm not alone in this belief, and that this notion of gratitude is well reinforced in society. After all, how many times have you heard someone say, "Well, let's just be grateful we have what we have," or "Let's just be grateful it wasn't worse," or you heard someone consoling themselves by saying, "Well, I'm just grateful that," and you fill in the blank. Well, I didn't accept the idea of just taking what I was given, and somewhere along the way I decided I wasn't going to be grateful. In my early 20s, I remember someone once telling me that I needed to put a little gratitude in my attitude. But all I could hear that person say was that I was not allowed to speak up and ask for what I truly wanted, meaning asking for more out of life. So for me, being told to be grateful meant settling for less. It was a way of being kept down on the farm, so to speak, even though I didn't grow up on a farm or even anywhere near a farm. I was embarrassed to admit this, even to myself privately, since everyone kept telling me how wonderful gratitude is and that I should be grateful. I heard it every year at Thanksgiving dinner. Actually, I would hear it all throughout Thanksgiving weekend. I would hear it at Christmas. I heard it often on TV, and especially when I watched a holiday movie. I even heard it when I asked my boss for a raise. He told me I should just be grateful that I had a job, even though that job often wasn't all that much fun. I'll admit, I began to develop a resentment towards being grateful. Somewhere deep inside, though, I knew I had to change my perspective and come to terms with my resistance toward this notion of gratitude. And one day it finally dawned on me that I needed to be honest with myself and look at my own beliefs and perhaps actually put some gratitude in my attitude, as my friend once told me. The problem was, I wasn't sure where to start. I mean, after all, this idea of gratitude, meaning you should just be grateful, is alive and well and living in our societal consciousness. So, where could I turn for guidance? I turned, of course, to the teachings of the science of mind, which has always guided me in all things right in my life. After being exposed to this wonderful teaching, I finally began to realize, ever so slowly, but surely indeed, that gratitude is something much different than I had believed and is in fact a far more powerful force than I ever realized. I now understand that thinking gratefully and expressing gratitude is actually a process of courting the divine. Being grateful increases the velocity of my understanding of my own true divine nature. And by increasing my understanding of my own divine nature, I invite more of the divine into my life, into my experience. There was no greater teacher of the power of gratitude than Wallace Wattles, who wrote The Science of Getting Rich in the early 1900s. The wisdom of his writings is timeless and is as true today as it was when he wrote it. But Wallace Wattles' book is about much more than just making a lot of money. His book is a clear, step-by-step spiritual guide for living a truly richer, more abundant and fulfilling life in every way. Money is a part of it, but it's not the sum total of abundance. Getting rich means living a life of happiness on my terms and manifesting outwardly the things that I desire inwardly. It's the old spiritual adage, as within, so without, that fluid, permeable relationship of the inner and the outer life. In The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles said, gratitude is the portal to the divine. That struck me. That was quite a statement. But he didn't stop there. He continued by saying, the whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. First, you believe there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And third, you relate yourself to it by a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. Well, I wanted to know, why is that? How can Wallace Wattles make such a bold, definitive claim? And because it was such an unapologetically bold statement, I know I couldn't just accept his premise on blind faith. I needed to challenge him and truly understand the science behind his basic assertion that having an attitude of gratitude invites more good into my life. So I kept reading. And Wallace Wattles said it this way: "It is easy also to understand that the soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with God than the one which never looks to him in thankful acknowledgement." Again, another bold statement. He obviously wasn't pulling any punches. But upon what basis could he be so sure? The scientific principle that Wallace Wattles rests his argument on is, of course, the law of attraction, which is also another way of saying the law of cause and effect. He tells us, "Draw nigh unto God, and he will draw nigh unto you." That is a statement of psychological truth. When I first heard this, I mistakenly thought that God would draw nigh or be nearer to me because I was a good boy and I was doing the right thing by praying to God just like I'm supposed to do. That's because I was still living from a very traditionally Western view of God as an angry, wrathful, or capricious deity that plays favorites, rewarding those who worship him and punishing those who don't. Thankfully, our teaching doesn't adhere to those beliefs and instead recognizes the truth that God, Spirit, infinite intelligence by any name, is a loving, all-powerful energy of supply, of creation, of fulfillment. And because this all-powerful Spirit energy loves me so much and loves you so much, it corresponds perfectly to my expectations of it by supplying, in the form of experience, what I expect it to do. This is the law, and it works the same whether I have expectations of a pleasant outcome or an unpleasant outcome. It's still the same law. This is one of the reasons we are told to think of things of good report, as the Bible says, so that we are creating the right mental equivalent, that preordained expectation of good. God always corresponds perfectly in form to that which is thought into it. Wattles tells us this: "The creative power within us makes us into the image of that to which we give our attention. We are thinking substance, and thinking substance always takes the form of that which it thinks about." So, recognizing that this thinking substance, or God, Spirit, whatever you would like to call it, is always taking the form of that which is thought into it, I began to better understand this premise of drawing nigh to God. I began to realize that God doesn't actually draw nigh or near to any one of us. God is always here, always present, and in reality is closer than thy hands and feet, as the saying goes. The reason is because each one of us is an incarnation of this God energy in action. So because God is always present as us and as everything and everyone around us, we don't need to draw nearer to it. It's already here. But the saying is still very important because what we are drawing nearer to is our understanding of our own true divine nature. We are drawing nearer to our understanding of the power each one of us has as a center of divine operation, as Thomas Troward puts it. That each one of us is a creative engine. Each one of us is an agent of first cause, a master architect and builder of our own experiences, all based on what we believe and what we expect. So now I was starting to get excited, and this idea of gratitude was starting to get a little clearer to me. But Wallace Wattles didn't let up. He kept pressing on and said, "And if your gratitude is strong and constant, the reaction in formless substance will be strong and continuous. The movement of the things you want will always be toward you." He continued, Notice the grateful attitude that Jesus took. How he always seems to be saying, I thank thee, Father, that thou hearest me. You cannot exercise much power without gratitude, for it is gratitude that keeps you connected with power. So, because the law of cause and effect means the universe corresponds perfectly to my thought, it now became clear that I needed to be more careful about what I think and what I expect. I also started to accept that gratitude elevates my thinking into the truly positive, and that positive thinking precedes having a positive experience. Someone once challenged me to live for 1 month with the results of what I was thinking. That was an excellent challenge, and I now ask myself to do that all the time, thankfully. Ernest Holmes said, we should carefully consider whether we are willing to experience the results of our thoughts. As we sow, so we must reap. But what about the days when my thinking isn't so elevated? When I'm getting battered and bruised by the conditions of the world? I'm always trying to do my best, but on some days my best isn't as good as it is on other days. And I'll be honest, there are some days when my best just isn't very good at all. For me or for the people around me. Just ask them. There are days when I'm not that grateful, when I'm reacting to conditions, and I'm forgetting that those conditions are effects, not causes. So how do I reorient my thinking to being grateful? And I mean truly grateful, not the definition I had as a kid or in my early 20s. This is where faith comes in. Ernest Holmes says, those who have great faith have great power. He says so because the law is always a mirror reflecting your mental attitudes. So the big question is, having faith in what? For me, it is having faith that spirit, mind, God, whatever you choose to call it, is all-powerful, is perfect, and is only love. It can do anything, and indeed it does everything. It has it all. These are the eternal, everlasting principles of the laws of mind. But because they are principles, I can't see them. They're invisible. And therein lies the challenge. Having faith in the invisible. I need to remind myself daily that what is now visible has always emerged from the invisible. In other words, that which is now seen was once unseen. At least it was unseen to me. And that is indeed counterintuitive to my upbringing and my education. I was taught, probably like many of you, that I need visible evidence before I can believe in anything. In spiritual law, though, belief precedes the manifestation of the visible evidence. Therefore, we need to think into the formless, as Ernest Holmes would say. He says all manifestation of life is from an invisible to a visible plane through a silent, effortless process of spiritual realization. This tells me to think from cause, not to react from conditions. Reacting from conditions leads me to scampering around nervously, worrying, and ultimately brings about disease. Thinking from cause, however, brings forth beauty, harmony, peace, health, and prosperity. And my job is to think into cause, into this unseen universal mind. Another way to do this is to not live by comparing myself to others. Comparison is also another way of focusing on effect, not cause, and eventually only invites lack and longing into my life. Waddell says, the comparative mind never creates. He goes on to say, Man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. Otherwise, he cannot be in harmony with the formless intelligence, which is always creative and never competitive in spirit. So in that spirit, I would like to express my gratitude to you for allowing me the opportunity to share today an important part of my journey to understanding gratitude and enjoying the peace and abundance it brings. Namaste.
I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude of gratitude. I thank the universe for each new day, whether it's sunny or it's pouring rain. In any situation, time or place, my grateful heart creates a state of grace. I got an attitude, I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude of gratitude. The darkness taught me how to praise the light. Wrongness makes me hunger for what's right. Now there's not any place that I don't see heaven's blessings pouring down on me. I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude of gratitude. When Jesus fed the hungry multitude, he did it with a grateful attitude. Although it looked like there was not enough, he thanked the Spirit for abundant love. I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude, got an attitude of gratitude. I used to cry for deliverance, send desperate pleas to the heavens, but it wasn't until I gave up and got still that I could see all the gifts that I've been given. Got an attitude, I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude of gratitude. I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude of gratitude. I've got an attitude of gratitude. I've got an attitude of gratitude.
Thank you, Sean, for your wonderful message about the power of gratitude, and Bob for your beautiful musical compliment to Sean's message. Now, as we move into our time of offering, I want you to know that we're so grateful for your generous financial support of this center that allows us to support you in so many ways. There are 3 easy ways to share your offering. On your screen, you'll see our website, which is cslsarasota.com, where you can select the donate button, which will bring up several options for making a contribution. You can contribute via PayPal or by credit card, or you can mail a check to our address. You can also set up automatic contributions through your own online banking. Selecting the Donate Now button will open the PayPal window. Now, I invite you to place your hand over your heart as you reflect on your gift, blessing it as you share it, and know this with me. My gift goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper, and the divine flow returns it to me multiplied abundantly. Now, please join me in our offering affirmation on your screen. I give thanks that I may share of my good, my love, and my support. Thank you so much. If you'd like prayer support, I'd like to draw your attention to the green prayer request button. We encourage you to use this feature to send us your request. Our 5 licensed spiritual practitioners, Kathleen Frankert, Ron Frost, Nicole Leeds, Sean Scanlon, and me, are available to know and affirm spiritual truth with and for you in whatever challenge you may be experiencing. We're also available for 1-hour spiritual coaching sessions by appointment. For more information, check our website under the staff link at the left side of the screen and then select practitioners. Here on our website, you can also sign up to receive our weekly email newsletter. Please also check out our Facebook page for posts about upcoming events. I have 2 reminders for you this morning. First, please plan to join us next Sunday, November 20th, after the service at 11 a.m. for Coffee with Reverend Christine. This will be your first opportunity to meet our new interim minister, Reverend Christine Green. The Zoom link will be in our weekly email newsletter. And if you missed Reverend Christine's first message to us last Sunday, you can access it right here on Facebook or on our YouTube channel. I guarantee that you will be inspired as our center is poised for the next steps of following the retirement of our dear Reverend Karen. Next, our Spiritual Living Circle meets via Zoom every Wednesday evening for 1 hour from 7 to 8 p.m. to discuss an article from the current month's Science of Mind magazine. This week, we'll be discussing the article by Mary Davis in the November issue entitled The Blessings of a Gratitude Practice. This is a wonderful opportunity for spiritual development and social connection with other like-minded individuals. If you'd like to participate, please email me at the address shown on your screen, and I'll send you the Zoom link, article, and discussion guide. Now, as we conclude this sacred time together, let us move forward into the week ahead with an attitude of gratitude. I invite you to listen or join in singing our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Thank you for being with us, and have a great week, everyone.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God our Creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my solemn vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let